I don't know about you, but honestly, I can't live without a budget. I need to have that roadmap in front of me. I don't know, maybe it motivates me or it keeps my ducks lined up in a row. Whatever it does for you, I can tell you this what it does for me. It keeps me fully minded, mindful, and aware as to where my money is going. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More with Jan channel. And every once in a while, I have to do this to my budget. How about you? Well, what is it this? First, let's do a little bit of a retro memory of an old timey game that I used to play when I was a little kid. Was from, I think Milton Bradley may have been the creator of this game. I'm not sure positively. But there was a game back in the old days called, let's see who remembers, Operation. Now, I don't know if it still exists. It's a classic game. Probably it still does. What a fun little game. And basically, the game Operation, it has like a make believe patient, as part of the game. And you have to remove certain parts of the body of the game and do it carefully in such a manner that you don't trigger the game to go off and light up the a so-called patient's nose. Okay, you don't want to do that. If I'm not mistaken, there was a body parts name like Funny Bone, which I thought was very cute. And if I'm not mistaken, there was also a breadbasket feature, I think, on the fake patient on that cute little game of skill and I guess testing one's steadiness of their nerves at an early age. Who remembers that game? Let me know in the comment section below. Why am I bringing up this game called Operation? Well, notice we're taking things out of this fake patient, okay? And you know what? Every once in a while, we have to do an ectomy on certain things. And honestly, every once in a while, now I could talk about my own budget. I don't know what you could do for your own budget, but every once in a while, I re examine my budget and I ask myself, where could I make a budget cut or a budget ectomy on an item? Because by doing that, by cutting back on things, well, it also keeps my budget balanced, okay, if not ahead of the game. And then I could apply literally the budget cuts to savings or reallocate it to other needs that may be more important at that moment in time. Remember, budgets are flexible, budgets are changeable, they are not precisely the same every single month. Now, of course, we know that we may have fixed items. We will have fixed items in our budget. We know we whatever we feed to our, as they call the four walls, like our rent or our mortgage or our basic utilities or groceries for food, things, all things that are necessary. Groceries are not a negotiable option that, oh, maybe I don't need ever groceries. No, you need to eat. Okay. You may cut back on certain types of food. Maybe you cannot include filet mignon in your food budget, for example, but you could certainly, get some other nutritious meal that's flavorful and doctor it up, so to speak. You know, if you can. This is what I'm trying to say. But there are things that you can budget out or cut from your budget. When was the last time you did that? Do you need to? Maybe you don't need to. But you won't know unless you check your budget. Do you even have a budget? I feel like I ask this question all the time. I think at least once every 10, within 10 videos, probably even less than that, the question begs, do you even have a budget? There may be a person who never had a budget ever or is afraid to try because it sounds so fancy. Don't let that word budget scare you. All it is a spending plan. All you're basically doing is monitoring or keeping track of what? Of the things that come in, meaning your income that comes in, and then sitting down and monitoring the stuff that's going out. Hmm. If you have more outcome than income, that has to get fixed somehow or another. Either you're going to do one of two things. You're going to do an immediate budgetectomy, and maybe then you could balance your budget. And some people are totally fine just doing just that, and their budgets get balanced and that's the end of that. Okay. Or slash the realization that, well, there comes a time you just have to bring in more income. Now, some people can remedy that very simply. Well, Jan, how do I bring in more of an income? It's hard to get a job. It's hard to keep. I hear you, and anyone making it sound like it's such a simple thing, it's that's not accurate. That's not accurate in this particular climate, because the stories that I'm hearing, it's much more of a challenge, okay? But do so anyway. Try your absolutely best. And in between that time, what you do is pick up some side hustles. Listen, we got to talk about, besides the budget ectomy, we have to talk about the value of a side hustle, okay? Maybe I should get into that exclusively more on an additional video. I think I'll do that. I think I'll do just that. Okay, but for now, for this video, just know that you need to explore the thought of side hustles. Well, where am I going to get an inspiration for those kind of things? Go remaining on this platform. You don't even have to leave the platform. There are a plethora of information and inspirational videos that will perhaps inspire you. Okay, so just enter in the search box on this platform side hustles, and you're going to hear some success stories. Okay, and perhaps the success stories or the ideas in and of themselves. Okay, but let's go back to the, in my opinion, a lot easier until you get the next, form of your income is the cutting down or budget ectomy. Like that game Operation, when you carefully want to remove things very carefully without, tilting that imaginary nose on the imaginary patient to light up and go bzz, 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 like buzzing sounds, and then then you like jump back in shock, like mental shock. What can you do that you can take out? What I had to do recently, okay, what I had to do is I recognized that it seems like I really, 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 really love a little too often the use of paper products. Now, I mentioned that in a recent video, okay, because I'm so glad that I recognized that habit. A lot of times things are just a matter of habit. And it's those little habits that add up. But you say to yourself at the time that you're buying that little extra thing of paper plates at the dollar store, or the extra rolls of paper towel, do you really need these things? Now, I'm not saying people don't really want these things, okay? And there are times that people need these things, but that is literally a disposable item, a one time use item. And for frugal people, we tend to enjoy things that we can use more than once, much more than once. Okay. So, if like wiping up spills and stuff of that nature, you probably have a whole bunch of free rags right in your home or apartment. And if you don't like to keep them around, you could discard them because you were going to, in all probability, throw them out anyway. Am I right or am I right? What does work very well when you're cleaning up certain spills are older, faded towels. I can tell you, like if you're tired, okay, of certain towels and you want brand new, fresher looking towels, for your bathroom and stuff that keeps you smiling, it looks better. The other things, they got dingy looking. They've been washed 100,000. There's nothing wrong with them. They still absorb, they still do the job. Can you substitute perfectly good towels as something to help pick up a spill in your kitchen? Absolutely, yes. And the beauty part is that you can toss them in your washer, okay, with your regular clothes and whatever way that you normally wash your other towels. So, strong suggestion, because I've done this myself and it has helped me cut back on the use of brand new paper towels. If you're using them specifically for like accidental spills or something of that nature, just look in your towel pile. Do you have towels that you may just want to treat yourself to a brand new set of regular towels? And it pays for itself eventually because you're going to reuse over and over and over again the dingy ones. They're still functional, but they've been used over and over and over again. And you'll know the difference right away. Oh, okay. So these are the towels that I'm going to use to wipe up spills. I mean, a towel is made to absorb moisture. So honestly, look through your stuff. You might actually have a whole bunch sitting in a drawer somewhere, and you just saved yourself a ton of money. Do the math. Do the math. Paper towels are expensive. Now let's talk about paper plates for a brief second, okay? To me, there are a few different types of paper plates. There's the one that I call the Cadillac of paper plates, okay? And they really, really are, and they cost more, and they are wonderful if you are throwing a party and you're serving very sloppy foods like lasagna, baked ziti, something, like stewy or something of that nature, it has like a lot of tomato sauces or whatever, rich sauce or whatever. Those plates are perfect for your guests, okay? And for yourself too, because it makes cleanup a breeze. But for everyday use, get the fractionally much cheaper, the one in the $1.25 store, the very thin one. They are great for like, oh, it's breakfast and you just want to put a whole bunch of paper plates out. It's morning, you want to dash out the door. You don't want to have to worry about washing paper goods before you go to work. See where I'm going with that? You could get those for $1.25. Okay. So believe it or not, there are actually class distinctions even in the paper world, and certainly with paper towel. Okay. So for the really disgusting sloppo messes, keep a roll or two in a car. Absolutely recommend, especially if you have kids. Kids tend to, maybe spill the milk or whatever it is, or if you have a pet and things could get sloppy and really gross, then you really need your paper towel. Okay, in my honest. So keep a couple of rolls in your trunk or back seat or whatever you do, wherever you keep it. But if you could cut back on the paper things, paper towels for just wiping up an ordinary kitchen spill, yeah, look through your regular towels and see what you could do about it. All right. So there are ways and there are ways. So I did a budgetectomy and I find myself saving about $25 to $30 monthly by making those little changes monthly. Well, some people say, what's $30? To me, $30 a month. The last time I checked, $30 a month is $360 a year. What can you do with an additional $360 a year? I could pay some bills with that. I could pay a few months of my $77 a month electric bills with that, or I could just put it away in a sinking fund for whatever, or for birthday gifts, or a Christmas gift. See where I'm going with this? There are ways, and there are ways. When you play the game of operation on your own budget, what are you going to cut out without tilting the red nose?